Hello, it's your favorite sports Unc here. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to join the fastest growing community on YouTube. Remember, Nightcap doesn't happen without you. So please subscribe or you're going to make Ocho cry. Ocho, the game that you just watched, the Ohio State Buckeyes took apart the number one team in the country, the Oregon Ducks, 41-21 in the Rose Bowl. Ohio State gets their revenge. It was one of their two losses on the season. They lost earlier in the year to Oregon in Oregon. But tonight, they were really no match. Jeremiah Smith set the stage early. He had 7 catches, a buck 87, and 2 touchdowns. But this was really a mismatch from the word jump. And I think this is what's so frustrating about Ohio State, because you see what they can be. Now, this is the team that took apart the number one team in the country by 3 touchdowns. And lost on their own home field by a team that they were favored by 3 touchdowns. That's what's frustrating about them, and I think that's what. But Ryan Day, give him credit. We've been very critical of him. Not critical. We were critical of the game that he lost, losing to Ohio, losing to Michigan year in and year out. Having that level of talent that you've had. Think about the quarterbacks that they've had. Think about the wide receivers. Thinking about the D linemen. Think about the DBs. From the Denzel Wards and the Jeff Okudas and all those guys that's come out of there, and you ain't got no national championship to show for it. All those receivers, Marvin Harrison Jr., Jackson Smith and Jigba. You got Chris Olave. You got Garrett Wilson. Look at those D linemen from Chase Young to Nick Bosa. Look at those quarterbacks, Justin Fields, and you had rest his soul. What's the guy that lost his life tragically? Dwayne Haskins. You had the other quarterback. And you can understand why people are like, hold on, come on, Coach Day. You got this level of talent. They had a top 6, top 7 pick last year, the offensive tackle position. They're like, Coach Day, you got this level of talent and you losing to Michigan and you ain't got no national championship, but all will be forgiven if he takes this thing and finishes it out. But Ohio State looked good today, Ocho. They ran the ball well. They threw the ball well. They stopped that high-powered offense of Oregon. It looked very pedestrian, very mundane today.
It did. Listen, I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong, but I think the week off, I think it did more harm than good for them to be as flat as they look today, as well as Oregon has played all season long, being the number one team in the country, and the way they showed up today, that had to be a little bit of rust. And not only was it a little bit of rust, but it was too late, and there was no room for the rust when you're playing somebody like Ohio State, who had a point to prove after losing the first time they met earlier in the season. And that's exactly what they got. Jeremiah Smith, he said ahead of time,
you play man coverage,
that if you play one-on-one, you're not going to be able to cover me. He went out there and did exactly what he was supposed to do and handled his business. The funny thing about it, people right now are talking about Jeremiah Smith and how great he is and how good he is. And he's probably right now, even as a freshman, probably the number one receiver in the country right now as a freshman. I've been watching young bull at Chaminade down there in Miami, for a few years. He been like that. In Little League, he was like that.
Big kid.
At Ohio State, he is like that. When he get drafted into the NFL, he's still going to be like that. He been like that for a long time. Outside of that, man, Ohio State looked very, very well. Again, hoping Coach Ryan Day can finish the task at hand. And for all the great players that have come through Ohio State, they can hoist that trophy at the end of the day.
Yeah. Oh, C.J. Stroud was a quarterback. You had C.J. Stroud, no national championship. Yeah. Justin Fields, no national championship. Dwayne Haskins, no national championship. That's 3 quarterbacks taken in the first round. Now Olave, first-round pick. Garrett Wilson, first-round pick. Jackson Smith and Jigba, first-round pick. Marvin Harrison Jr., first-round pick. Chase Young, the number 2 pick. Nick Bosa, the number 2 pick. Jeff Okuda. Denzel Ward. Come on now, Ocho. Yeah. Come on, Ocho. Yeah. I mean, people, they make it seem like we just making stuff up. You got that level of talent year in and year out, and you ain't won no national championship? And people like, oh, they're being too hard, bro. And you losing to Michigan? I personally don't think that's a stretch when you got that level of talent that's coming out year in and year out, and you're underachieving. There's no other way around it, Ocho. Coach Day, you did a phenomenal job of having this team prepared. And from the word jump,
I have a question, Unc. Do you still is it considered underachieving the fact that you've had all these quality players year in and year out? Is it still underachieving simply because you haven't won a national championship and the
Yes.
seasons have been
Ocho.
the seasons have been a success?
Ocho.
I'm just
Ocho,
asking.
think
I'm
about
just
it.
asking.
You got offensive player of the year, offensive player of the year, offensive player of the year. Think about it. You got quarterbacks. C.J. Stroud,
Yes.
Justin Fields, and you had Dwayne Haskins in succession.
Right.
You think about it, you had Jackson Smith and Jigba, you had Garrett Wilson, you had Olave, you had Marvin Harrison Jr. in succession, and a lot of those guys played together. You had a Chase Young, you had Nick Bosa, a Jeff Okuda, Denzel Ward. Come on, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, that's 10.
I'm with you.
That's 10 first-round picks right there.
Yeah.
And I said the same thing about Coach Saban. Coach Saban said that the fans in Ohio State are psychotic. I asked Coach Saban this. If you had consistently lost to Auburn and you got Julio and you got Calvin Ridley and you got Judy and you got Ruggs and you got Waddle and you got Devontae Smith and you got Amari Cooper and you got those quarterbacks, you got Tua, you got Bryce Young, you got what's the guy that went to New England? Mac Jones. Mac Jones. Okay, you got him. Now you got, and plus you got what's the guy? Derrick Henry, and you got Najee Harris. You got Damian Harris. Come, bro. And I ain't gonna talk about the defense. I ain't gonna talk about what they got over there. And you don't win no national championship. Even after a couple of years of Coach Saban, and Alabama fans, y'all know this, even after a couple of years of not winning the national championship, after he had done 1 4 or 5, they say Coach Saban had lost his fastball. That man had got 4 or 5 national championships, and they saying that with the talent. You got Quentin Williams, and you got Allen, and you got all those guys. See, man, when you have that level of talent, Ocho, I mean, think about Alabama, the level of talent that they put out every single year. Ohio State ain't far behind. The only difference is Alabama has won in the last 15 years, has won 6 national championships, played for another 3. That's the difference between them and Ohio State.
And you know what I would love to hear, especially in the chat, and then probably people that are going to watch this after the fact and hear us talk about this and saying that Ohio State is underachieved based on the level of talent that they've had in succession there without winning a national championship. I'm curious to hear the rebuttals and with the, not excuses, but the reason behind why they haven't won will be. And, you know, people always find a way, they come up with something. I don't want to call them excuses, but there are valid reasons depending on what they may be. For whatever reason, I'm curious to hear what they have to say.
And Ohio State also had Joe Burrow. He transferred leads.
Oh, he transferred.
You had Jameson Williams.
Hey, I wonder how do they let stuff like that happen?
He wasn't getting no playing time.
How does Florida let Cam Newton get away? How does Ohio State let Joe Burrow get away? Do they not see the level of talent at that time? Or
you're talented, but you got to be able to beat the guy that's in front of you out, Ocho.
What do you mean? Who was it Joe Burrow couldn't beat out at Ohio State?
J.T. Barrett. Sometimes it happened. Who was that? Was it David Carr that couldn't beat out Billy Bolick at Fresno State? I think it was Derek. I think David Carr couldn't beat out Billy Bolick. Billy Bolick was like a 5th or 6th round, and David Carr was the first pick in the draft.
So maybe I'm confused. Did they have the issue beating these individuals out, or these players had
seniority?
I don't want to play politics.
Seniority?
I don't want to do politics.
Seniority?
That's what seniority.
Because Adrian Peterson said he didn't go to Texas, even though I think he's from Palestine, is because they had a guy, and Mac Brown says, you won't play a whole lot this year because we believe that the guy that's in front of senior, he deserves to play. Oklahoma said, we're going to let you play. But it worked out well. Jameson Williams, he left. Well, Olave, you got Jackson Smith and Jigba, you got Garrett Wilson. Okay.
Wait, J-Mo was at Ohio State too?
He absolutely was.
Ooh.
And sometimes a change of scenery.
It's only one ball to go around, so I kind of understand.
Sometimes.
It's only one ball.
a change of scenery is good. But Ohio State
Yes,
looked
sir.
good tonight. I mean, they ran. I mean, the
Yes,
guy
sir.
hit his head. I mean, they just like, okay, we tired of throwing it. Maybe they preparing for the pass. Let's just hand it off. They hand the ball off and the guy goes 64, 65 yards.
No, 66, 66.
Oh, how you go 60 on a handoff? You hit the hole, you hit the sideline, and don't nobody touch you.
Touch you, no. And the player, even the players in the secondary taking the angle, I don't know what kind of angle they took.
The first guy that missed him because the other guys were so far out of position, they weren't gonna catch him. Once he hit that sideline, But Will Howard, 17 of 26, 319, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Woo. Ohio State running attack, 31 rushes, 181 yards, 2 touchdowns. What was it? Oh.
I hit them killers back there. I hit them killers.
That's outside, though. I think that was a car. Henderson, 8 carries for 94 yards, 2 touchdowns, long of 66. Judkins, 17 carries, 85 yards. But they did whatever they wanted to do. And they were all over Dillon Gabriel. 8 sacks tonight, Ocho. Check this out. They had 28 rushes for minus 23 yards. Let me repeat that. 28 rushes for minus 23 yards. Now, a lot of that, Ocho, came on sack yards, college. They still take the sack yards. They take it from your rush. So Dillon Gabriel carried the ball 12 times for minus 43 yards. So therein lies why the minus 23. But he was 29 of 41 for 299, 2 touchdowns. But give Ohio State credit. They rushed 3, they got pressure. They rushed 4, they got pressure. It didn't matter what they did. They could do whatever they wanted to do, and they took them apart. They were clearly the better team. Now, of all the teams that I've seen play thus far, Ohio State looked the best. The best college football team that we've seen in the college football playoffs thus far was Ohio State. What Ohio State did tonight. Now, next week might be something entirely different, Ocho. Georgia or Notre Dame might come out tomorrow. I think the game is scheduled for tomorrow, right, Ash? Yeah. Okay. Notre Dame might come out here and blow us away. Georgia might come out here and blow us away. But the best team that we've seen thus far, top to bottom, is the Ohio State Buckeyes tonight.
Oh, yeah. I wonder what the difference is, though, Unc. Looking at the game, you have a week to prepare. You've already played them once. You beat them once. So I wonder what the difference was. What did Oregon do wrong that they didn't do the first time they played?
Didn't Oregon get a couple of special teams touchdowns the first time they played? I think something had to go really well. But to their credit, Oregon did have like 500 yards of total offense the first time. But, Ocho, you're at home. You know you play better at home than you do on the road, especially college kids. Now, you got to realize you're dealing with 18, 19, 20-year-olds. These aren't professional. Right. Well, they are somewhat. Some of them are professional. Well, they get paid like professionals. Let's do that. Let's say that. And so, 14 points in the first quarter. They got 20 points in the second quarter. That was 34. Oregon scored right before the half, went for 2, got it, made it 34-8. But the game really wasn't that close. Let's be realistic. The game really wasn't that close. If you watched it, I don't think anybody thought once that game got to 21-0, I don't think anybody thought, man, Oregon gonna come back. I don't think anybody thought that. Not even Oregon fans. Not even Phil Knight.
Absolutely not.
And he might be the most most diehard Duck fan. He knew it was over.
Yeah.
Will Howard seemed to be finding his stride. 319 yards, 3 touchdowns. Howard's second straight game of 300-plus passing yards and his third this season. And freshman wide receiver Jeremiah Smith had a career day, 7 catches, 187 yards, and 2 scores. Look, Ohio State has had some receivers. It started with Chris Carter, and, you come on down. They've had really...
It's a lot of them now. It's a lot of them.
David Boston. They've had, obviously this run of receivers. You had Michael Thomas. They've had some receivers. But this kid, as big as he is, and the way he can move, because most guys, Michael Thomas was big. He ain't fast like this kid. Even CC couldn't run like this kid. Those other guys are
Listen,
on the smallish side now. No, Olave, I think Olave and Garrett Wilson a little bit, but they're not. This kid's like 215 pounds.
They're
a little bit
more
angular.
wiry. I mean no disrespect, right? Chat, y'all stay with me now. I've been watching Jeremiah Smith since high school. He was at Chaminade, right? So my comparison, even at the collegiate level, even as a freshman, now I know my eye. I know my eyes. My eyes ain't fail me. I got 20/20 vision. If I was in the Marines, I'd be a sniper. That's the kind of vision I got. You hear me? Jeremiah Smith comparison right now to me is no different than Julio Jones when he was at Alabama.
I agree with that.
That's him. That is him. There's no weakness in his game. Man-to-man, bumper run, zone coverage, going deep, intermediate, short, hit your head off the goalpost or anything. That's everything. He's well-rounded and does everything very well. Everything.
He does.
So when I compare them Julio Jones, which some people might be, that's disrespectful, slow down a little bit. You know, he's young. He's only a freshman. I'm telling you, he's only going to get better. He's only going to improve. He's only going to get faster, stronger, get a better understanding of the game. Dude, trust me, that's his comparison. And he will be the number one pick in the draft. Unless there's a quarterback that comes out of nowhere and just blows us all away. Jeremiah Smith will be the number one pick in the draft. I'm not sure what year would that be?
You got 2 more years. He's a freshman. Now, I think he's 19, but it all depends. See, he can't come out until he's 21 because his class, he's a freshman. Now, he had been redshirted. You know, hey, he can come out next year because his class would have graduated. But you can't come out until the class that you come in graduates. So that's going to put him 2 more years. But guess what?
Dang.
He good. He be making $2-3 million a year. It ain't like the old days where you stayed in school. Maybe you got a Challenger or a Charger, or you got a free meal here and there.
Getting that bag,
now they making $800 million a year. NIL deals. Well, you saw what the kid, the college kid that's going to Michigan got. He got $12.5 million.
The quarterback?
Yeah.
The quarterback?
He got $12.5 million. Ooh. And he got something else. Oh, and he get tutored by Tom Brady.
Have you seen footage of film on him? Is he really like that?
He like that.
Yeah.
Now, put it like this. He was like that in high school. There were a lot of kids that was like that in high school, but ain't like that in college.
Right.
Adrian Peterson was like that in high school and in college. You look at him like, damn. Yeah. Derrick Henry was like that at every level. Yeah. Adrian Peterson was like that at every level. ED was like that at every level. Some guys, it doesn't matter. Randy, Jerry, even though Jerry went to Mississippi Valley, people like, oh, he only doing that because look where he doing it. Okay.
Right.
They said the same thing about Walter Payton. Look at what he ain't doing. He doing that against Jack. Okay. He's the all-time lead rusher.
Yeah.
Jerry's the all-time lead receiver. So it was that was a game. Ohio State, they put it on them. Oregon, got to go back to the drawing board, boy.